Hello, we're team number 4, Fernanda Gavito,
José Francisco,
Nicolás Manrique,
Dora Ortiz,
Miao Yuan,
and Alexia Hornick.
Our group focused on the topic of public spaces, and we're happy to present to you our project, the Hexactivation, a new way of socializing. Our project is based on the reactivation of the public space through COVID-19. The place that constructs the city and that reinforces relations between citizens has been one of the most affected systems through the pandemic. It's revealed the reality of the normality we lived, with the lack of green space that is minimized and does not have the adequate conditions to allow safe interaction between citizens. This situation has also affected the profits of local businesses around the world. Based on these ideas and the context that we live in, we stated the following problems to attack: the lack of adequate measures and conditions in public spaces, the lack of spaces to interact and develop, people's fear of interaction in these spaces, loss of commercial premises of the local businesses, and the lack of design strategies that do not permit an order inside the public space. These problems are inside the public space system, which is influenced by the economical system that is characterized by the lack of jobs due to the absence of people on the streets, which happens because the space does not have the proper sanitary conditions. This has led to the loss of commercial premises affecting local businesses. Another system which is immersed in this problematic is the social interaction, since social gatherings depend on the environment of the public space, making its distribution and conditions a main element for social relations.
These systems guided our project and its development, using leverage points through the process. These are a set of points proposed by Donella Meadows that study a system and gives information on how it works. We focused on 5 of these 12 points for our project, which are cleaning social spaces before using them and maintaining social distancing to transcend paradigms, reactivating social interaction through mentality, evolving, adding and changing the system by adapting current social spaces, sticking to existing contingency rules, and using positive and negative feedback to our project.
With the study of these points, we reach the requirements and objectives of our project, having 3 main ones: the revitalization and adaptation of public and green space, economy reactivation, and inclusiveness reconnecting society. This by adapting spaces, incorporating sanitary measures by making it adaptable to every country, aiming on reducing stress and reactivating economy. These objectives were developed through urban acupuncture, originated in Barcelona by the architect and urbanist Marco de Sola Morales, a socio-environmental theory that is based on small-scale but highly focused interventions that are adaptable and flexible, restoring and reactivating public spaces and economies through design.
The process continued with the study of gathering patterns in public space and the development of design strategies that allow interaction through social distance control,
which led us to realize that it is not possible to intervene every space by itself, because each space has different conditions, getting to a plan of introducing prototypes that can be adapted to every space no matter its characteristics, thinking of the activities that are developed in public space, dividing them in a sitting, relaxing space and eating zone, a commerce business zone, an expression or art exhibition zone, and a dynamic zone.
We decided to use hexagons that create an organized reticle inside the space, generating paths and walkways, searching for modular distributions that can adapt to the environment by allowing the stakeholders to decide the distribution of the modules according to the space they are being put into.
The users have the most important opinion. That is why we ran 2 surveys to know how they would respond to the project. The first one was made to artists and local businesses. COVID-19 has changed our realities, and theirs too. We can see that artists and local businesses have had economic repercussions.
We could also see that the spaces that they used to use do not have the adequate measures to deal with today's situation, the pandemic. That leads us to the idea that these modules can be a positive way of rethinking public space, and that they would be willing to invest in an adequate space with the safe sanitary measures that can better their economies and their social relations.
The second one was made to the public space users to know some of the preferences or changes that the project could have, which led us to know that the development of these spaces with the right measures will allow a reactivation of the public space, having the users as responsible participants, cleaning before and after them, but keeping away the movement of the models because of the problems and dangers that it will bring to the safe distancing.
Here we have the first prototype, the sitting, relaxing, and eating module. For the furniture, we used static elements anchored to the floor to keep safe distancing. Each table has a wooden umbrella that provides some shadow. They are arranged so that each set has the necessary space between them to respect this distancing. In the middle, we have the safety pole, which appears on each one of our modules. This pole comes with a solar panel on top that provides energy to the LED lights that they have. It also comes with an instructive with safety measures and the amount of people that can be on the module at the same time. It has a hand sanitizing dispenser and a safety button to make it easy to get help in case of any inconvenience.
Next, we have the expression and art model. Here, artists can expose or sell their work just by paying a small fee. Pedestrians can watch their work and maybe even buy some of the exhibitions, creating a sense of belonging by using them as theirs.
Model number 3 is the dynamic space. This module comes with swings that are attached to the base. Here people can relax and enjoy being in the public space and maybe have a conversation with other people.
The last module is a commerce or business space that aims to help the reactivation of the local economy by providing adequate safe stands that are in order inside the public space.
In order to make the project a worldwide reality, we have decided to have a construction manual that will have all the process and the specifications to construct each model. It can be personalized depending on each country materials and construction methods. The main structures, we search for materials that help to prevent the spread of viruses. In the process, we found 3 principal materials, which are the copper, that according to various studies, it has the same properties of silver and gold, and viruses such as SARS-CoV-19 just last from 3 to 4 hours in the surface without the necessity of being constantly washed. Next, we have the antimicrobial paint. It's made by a Spanish company called A. Gravestone, and it has antimicrobial properties which prevent the development of bacteria, fungus, viruses, and protozoa. Last, we have good, that according to various studies, states that the coronavirus doesn't last in good because 75% to 100% of the virus charge disappears in 6 hours.
The antimicrobial paint will be used for the furniture, the copper for the swings, and the wood for the module's base, respectively.
Now we'll talk about the constructive side of things. This hexagon will be built by 6 triangles that will be united by small metallic pedestals that also give support. On top of this, we'll have pine plywood supports that will hold the main platform. These triangles will be attached to either a wooden ramp or a metal pot for the endemic vegetation. The complete module assembled with the triangles will form the hexagon. Beneath the bases, they'll have the metallic furniture bases, which will support the furniture that goes on top.
Each module has their own building process that allows them to be easy assembled and disassembled. This also keeps them from damaging the area by not being that invasive. Module 1, sitting, relaxing space plus eating zone.
For this module, we'll have wooden seats and tables attached to the metallic bases in the bottom. For the sunshades, we added LED lights that will be fed up by the solar panel.
This structure is a steel plate that joins the 3 spaces of tables and chairs. This way becomes a more rigid structure. Tables and chairs also fits into the steel plate to make it more portable and the construction can be easier.
Here we can see the way the people interact with the model, whether they just want to sit down and relax or have a meal in there.
Module 2, expression zone and art exhibition.
For this module, we'll have the wooden poles that will support the artwork. It also counts with 2 seats and their respective bases. LED lights attached to the poles also fed by the solar panel.
This structure is simpler because they are copper arcs that fits into a steel plate with screws that go through the copper. All this below the model so cannot be seen.
Here we can see the way the art is presented to the users and how they can appreciate it and maybe buying it.
Module 3, Dynamic Space.
For the swings module, we'll have the metallic bases that will support first the metal sheath. This sheath will support the main metal pole that supports the swing seat, also LED lights attached to the metal pole.
The swing structure is made of steel to make it more rigid when people sit on it. The structure has a specific design so the copper tube fits into a triangular base and can be transportable.
Here we can see the way children can interact with the public space and still keeping the social distance.
Module 4, Commerce and Business Space.
The commerce module will have the wooden stands on top of the main bases, attached with the holes that the main base will have. These stands will have a little pledgeable roof that not only works as a shade provider, but also as a safety measure to keep products safely when the stands are closed. The planter will work as a natural barrier to maintain distance between the customer and the seller.
In this structure, it's not necessary to use a structure underground because the weight of the stand is enough to keep it rigid. The only thing is a small metal plate below the model to stick the stand to the ground.
Here we can see some examples of local businesses that occupy the commerce model.
For the financing, we consider that it is important to let people know about this new project and how it can help local business thanks to the social reactivation that this project seeks. The financing will first be provided by the local market and with a small amount of rent for the commerce modules. This strategy will be reduced to 3 points: publicity through different sources, local business investment, and small fees for commerce modules. Here we have an example of the publicity for the project, which is intended to catch the attention of possible investors and users.
We adapted the models to 3 different locations in different countries to see the adaptability of the spaces and the way they are used. The first one is located in Germany, the Zeppelinplatz, in the Berlin district Wedding. It is a big green space in front of the Beuth University. The Zeppelinplatz is split in 3 different parts. In the last couple of years, there have been different projects to develop these spaces, but so far there have been projects only focusing on the left side, and that is why we are only focusing on the right side. We chose the Zeppelinplatz because of its good location. Since it is next to the university and between residential buildings, a lot of people and students go there for a walk, to spend their breaks, or to play there with their kids. On this map, we see how people can act around those modules. The modules are placed with a certain distance of 2.5 meters between each other. This way, there is enough space for people walking through them without getting too close to each other. We can see that with the shape of the hexagon, paths and spots are created. Here we have a closer look on how the modules work as a group. They can be placed individually or be put together. The shape of the hexagon comes really in handy here to create different kind of shapes.
The second location we choose is in China. It's a huge park and frequently visited by nearby residents. Because the park is very huge, people getting tired while walking alone, but there isn't too much space for sitting. By placing our platform, it gives people clear instruction that there are places for sitting, so the crowds are not likely to gather in one specific area.
The second location is in Puebla, Mexico, exactly in Street 3 Oriente, Centro, Puebla, Puebla.
We decided on this spot because of the great flow of people and the big amount of peddlers that use this street but do not have the adequate conditions to sell in this new reality. We distribute the models on a linear shape that creates paths and organizes the flow of people.
In conclusion, social activities are being held down by the contingency that we are going through. The distancing and staying indoors without being able to socialize like we used to has everyone stressed. According to the interviews and talking to people, we perceive that even if the new normality starts and activities start to run again, people are still going to be scared of the virus. This is why this project mainly focuses on these problems. We need to work as a whole to develop this new mentality on people and try to get things back together. Social and economical systems need to reactivate, and the only way we can ensure this is slowly but securely.
Thank you for your attention.